Loggers have one main task, and that is cutting down trees. In this video, we're going to go over the pros and cons of becoming a logger/lumberjack in 2021. We're going to go over the latest salaries, job market statistics, and the latest trends. Coming up. Hey everyone, Stephen Hack here with Career Watch, where I help you with your career search. If you end up enjoying the video, hit that thumbs up to support the channel. And if you're a logger or lumberjack, let us know what your experience has been down in the comments below. Loggers and lumberjacks have a number of roles and responsibilities. Loggers and lumberjacks harvest thousands of acres of forest every year. The timber they harvest provides the raw material for countless consumer and industrial products, such as furniture and housing scaffolding. Loggers cut down trees, they fasten cables around logs to be dragged by tractors, they operate machinery that drags logs to the landing or deck area, they separate logs by species and type of wood, and they continually inspect equipment for safety. First thing to understand about this occupation is that it is a dangerous occupation. In fact, logging was the second deadliest occupation in the United States in 2019. In 2019, 46 loggers died and many others were injured. Among the reasons for deaths include being struck by a falling object, such as a branch, getting stuck in between objects, and actually being run over by logging equipment. In 2007, Gary Enninger, an independent logger from a remote area in Wisconsin, lost his left leg while cutting down a tree. He actually didn't feel any pain when the trunk hit his leg, but he was stunned to discover that his left leg wasn't touching the ground. His left leg was completely gone. Despite losing his left leg, Gary made his way to a truck and to a hospital, got immediate medical attention, and actually lived. And he actually ended up writing a book called Will to Live, a Saga of Survival. So before entering this occupation, definitely understand that this is one of the most dangerous occupations in the United States. So what kind of compensation can loggers or lumberjacks expect in 2021? Well, the latest data we have from the government is for 2019. In 2019, loggers or lumberjacks earned on average around $43,000 per year. This was a base salary, and this is before overtime and other forms of compensation. This was less than boilermakers, plumbers, sheet metal workers, and welders, but loggers and lumberjacks did tend to out-earn landscapers. Wages have grown over the years. In 2012, the average base salary of a logger or lumberjack was around $35,000 per year. This grew to around $43,000 per year in 2019. So loggers or lumberjacks have seen a total wage growth of around $7,000 in 7 years. This comes out to about $900 per year. This means that we can expect loggers or lumberjacks to make around $45,000 per year as a base salary in 2021 and $52,000 per year as a base salary by 2029. A starting salary for a logger or lumberjack would probably be around $25,000 per year across the country. Whereas a lumberjack that works in a hot job market or is a lead probably at a work site, the top 10% of loggers or lumberjacks earn more than $61,000 per year as a base salary. Regionally, the states that tend to pay loggers and lumberjacks the greatest wage is all in the West Coast. In this map, the dark blue states tend to pay a greater base wage than the light blue states in this map. High-paying states for loggers and lumberjacks include the state of California, state of Washington, and the state of Oregon. So that covers the compensation of loggers and lumberjacks across the country. The next question is, what is the job market like? Is it hard to find work as a logger or lumberjack? Well, the first thing to understand is the workforce for loggers and lumberjacks is actually pretty small. There are far more employed landscapers, plumbers, and welders across the country. In 2019, there was about 38,000 employed loggers or lumberjacks in the entire United States. This was also less than the number of employed sheet metal workers. So this is a pretty tiny workforce. So you pretty much have to live in very specific areas in the United States to work as a logger or lumberjack. The logger and lumberjack workforce has grown over time. In 2012, there was around 34,000 employed loggers and lumberjacks. This grew to around 38,000 employed in 2019. So there has been job growth and the workforce has grown for people in this occupation. What is strange though is the US government is actually predicting a 13% loss in jobs for loggers and lumberjacks by 2029. This does not align with the historical trend where there's been a greater number of loggers and lumberjacks over the past 7 years. So the government is actually projecting there to be around 33,000 employed loggers and lumberjacks by 2029. Using history, the historical trend would put it at around 43,000. They cite the reason for this being increases in productivity because of logging equipment, making the average logger a lot more productive. But it's strange to me because there's a housing crisis right now. There's an affordability crisis. You would think that there'd be greater and greater home construction over the next couple of years, meaning there'd be greater demand for lumber. And so I would think that there would be greater demand for loggers and lumberjacks, but we'll see. As far as where all the loggers and lumberjacks are employed, they're in the dark blue states in this map. The beige colored states, there's no data at all associated with them. So according to this map, the states that have the greatest number of jobs, the greatest number of employed, include the state of Oregon, South Carolina, and Georgia. So that covers the job market for loggers and lumberjacks. The next question is, would this occupation be compatible with your interests? And to determine this, definitely check out a RIASEC assessment and figure out your Holland codes. No surprise here, but loggers that take a RIASEC assessment and figure out their Holland codes, they tend to score really high in the realistic theme. People that score high in this theme love working with their hands, they love being outdoors, they love repairing things, so it's no surprise that loggers score really, really high in the realistic theme. Other occupations that also score high in the realistic theme include occupations that work with their hands, such as plumbing, plumbers, electricians, building inspectors. So if you're interested in becoming a logger or a lumberjack, definitely look into also becoming an electrician, a plumber, because within those occupations, you're also working with your hands. As far as the education required to become a logger, this is one of the perks, one of the pros of becoming a logger. It is that there is no educational requirement. In fact, 55% of employed loggers haven't completed a high school diploma. About 44% have completed a high school diploma. So higher education, college, anything beyond college, even associate's degree is not necessary to work as a logger or lumberjack. So as you can see, there are pros and cons to becoming a logger or lumberjack in 2021. The barrier to entry is really low. You don't even really have to finish high school. You definitely don't need an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree to become a logger or lumberjack. The pay isn't quite as much as similar occupations. Plumbers tend to make a little bit more, electricians tend to make a little bit more, but there's a little bit more education required to enter those two occupations. Wages have increased over the past 7 years. Loggers on average are seeing about $900 to $1,000 of wage growth pretty much every single year. Historically, the job market has been pretty good. There has been job growth since 2012. But one concerning thing is the government is forecasting a 13% loss in the number of jobs for loggers and lumberjacks over the next 10 years. Historically, this hasn't occurred. There hasn't been really job losses for people in this occupation, but the government is thinking that those job losses are coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, definitely also check out my landscaper video. This occupation also doesn't require a bachelor's degree. And if you're a logger, definitely let us know down in the comments below what your experience has been. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.